Oh, that's great. It's so good to hear. Well, thank you again for coming back to see me this week. I wanted to first start off and ask you, you said you're feeling a little better. You're recovering from your injuries okay this week?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Oh,
Slowly.
slowly but surely. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, that's wonderful news. I'm really happy to hear that you're feeling better. That's awesome. Um, well, before we get started, I just kind of want to revisit what we talked about a little bit last week. Um, you came in and you shared that you had been referred by the hospital. You were in the ICU for a few days,
Hmm.
and that you did not report your husband. Your husband was there with you, and you were a little nervous about kind of they were pressing you for information, which is how you ended up with me. You
Hmm.
stated that your husband had been drinking a lot and the abuse. There was an incident that got you to the hospital. And at this point, you love your husband. You stated that you don't trust him, and his drinking has been an issue and surrounding all of the abuse. Just wanted
Hmm.
to kind of did I catch that right? That was your concern, your safety. Oh, and your children too. Your daughter, your oldest daughter witnessed
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
incident. Yeah.
yeah, everything's correct. And yeah, yes, you have it right.
How's it been since you've been home? How has there been any other drinking on any further incidents with your husband?
No, he's been really good. He hasn't drank from what I've seen. He hasn't drank and he hasn't come home drunk. So
Okay.
I think it's good, but it's only been a week and I just don't trust him yet.
Sure. Yeah, I hear you. So he's been on good behavior this week.
Yeah.
And yeah, but you still don't trust him. But I'm sure that's been a little bit of a relief, though, that nothing's happened since you've been home and you've been healing in a more stable, mellow environment. So, and
Yeah.
that's
He's
important for
very
you.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he says he's sorry. Okay,
Very sorry. He wants change. And I believe him, but I also know it's like a disease and it doesn't just go away. It's
you're referring to
alcoholism.
the drinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's actually kind of what I wanted to expand on today. If you're comfortable with me asking a few more questions about his drinking and some of the things that have been going on
Yeah.
home. Okay. Well, I'm going to start out by saying some of the questions I'm going to ask, they might be a little bit uncomfortable, uh, but they're kind of questions that, because, in our previous meeting, you stated that you're concerned for your safety and you don't trust him and the safety of your children.
Hmm.
And that's been a concern. So these questions are important for me to ask based on the history and kind of maybe building a safety plan. Let's hope that it doesn't happen again. But if your safety
Hmm.
you stated is a concern for you, I want to make sure that I'm following through on that and making sure that we address your safety. So again, these questions, I'm not here to re-traumatize you. You can keep them brief. And if at any time I
Hmm.
ask you something, you need to pause, take a deep breath, or makes you uncomfortable, I want to kind of reiterate that this is a private conversation. Again, if anything is shared about, uh, you know, feelings of harming yourself or another or neglect, abuse of any kind, I've got to report it. But otherwise, this is private. Just like I
Okay.
stated last time. Did you have any questions about that?
No, I remember. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. If you're ready, we'll go ahead and move forward.
Okay.
All right. So let me ask you about um, when his drinking kind of first started and when you started noticing um, some of like abuse. Did it start out with any kind of verbal or anything? Is this always related to drinking, basically, is what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, it's definitely related to drinking. 2 years ago, started to drink a little bit. And at first, it was just some verbal stuff, really just him being mean and rude. But it was only while he was drunk. And then this past year, that's when it has turned into physical, like it was just like a slap here and there, but now it's just everything he can put out on me, it seems. Like it's just gotten so bad. And it's only when he drinks. When he doesn't drink, he is the sweetest man.
I hear you. So he's sweet when he's not drinking, but when he's drinking, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty bad. It sounds like he's
Yeah.
started out verbally
Mm-hmm.
saying mean things to you, and then over time, and you said in the last year that it's escalated to physical
Yes.
abuse.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so sorry that's been happening. I'm sure that's terrifying and extremely frustrating, especially with having children. And I'm sure that having your daughter witness this last incident was just extremely, I'm sure you were terrified for your child and just
Mm-hmm.
devastated by that, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
she's now aware of what's going on a little bit. I also have to say, last week you mentioned that uh, while you're healing, your friend kind of has been taking your children to the church so you can have, making sure that they're safe and then they're not really witnessing the bruises and while you're healing. Um,
Yeah.
that really shows how that you're caring about your children's well-being, in
Yeah.
addition to their safety concerning your husband. And um, that's you sound like a really excellent mom, and a really loving and caring parent. So I just got to point that out. That was really great on your part to do that.
Thank
So yeah, yeah. Sounds like you really, really love them and you care about them. And
I
so
do.
yeah, yeah. Well, I also wanted to ask about the when did he first start drinking? Has he always been a drinker? Or in your paperwork, you said you came
Mm-mm.
from Monterey. You've been here a few years. Did he drink when you all were in Monterey or?
Because his dad is a drinker. So we left his dad and his mom to move in with my parents because of how much his dad was drinking. And he said he wasn't going to be like that. So that's why it's so shocking that like years later, we're at this point now.
Wow. So it sounds like you had some incidents with his father, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, you moved in with your family to get away from
Mm-hmm.
his drinking, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to drink, and here we are now, and he's drinking.
Yeah, it's really, it's just, it's a bummer because,
Yeah, that's probably pretty shocking and kind of,
yeah.
yeah, frustrating. Like, wow, he's repeating that pattern. Well, alcoholism is it's a family disease. It can run in the family. So I'm really sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. But you're here and we're talking about it, and that's great. And I just have one more question for you. Um, the incident that happened that put you in the hospital, and again, we can keep this brief. The physical abuse at that level. Do you mind kind of sharing what happened in that situation?
Yeah, he was really drunk, like really, really drunk. And he had just gotten home because I don't know how he drives like that, but he does. And he got home and with I was in the kitchen cleaning up. I had just put the kids to bed and I didn't even get to say anything to him yet and he just started punching me and he pushed me into the wall and my collarbone broke and there was a nail sticking out of the wall and it punctured my lung from my back. Like my back, when he shoved me into the wall, he broke my collarbone and then the nail went into my back. And he just, while I was still stuck there, he kept punching me.
Oh my goodness.
But
Well,
that's all.
Lupita, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Um, it sounds like that was a really terrible, horrific, and scary incident that you went through.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that was the worst.
was this the first time that he maybe hit you to the point where you needed to go to the hospital?
Yeah, it's the first time he's hit me before, but this is the first time I've gotten a concussion and like broken bone and
Like
stuff like
injured
that.
at this level to go to the hospital?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Goodness. Well, it sounds like it's escalating and that I'm sure that's terrifying. So, and your safety is a concern. So I really appreciate you sharing this with me. Um, I know that was probably difficult um to share with me. So thank you. It takes a lot of courage on
yeah. I
your
haven't told anybody else.
that's my next question. I was going to ask about your family. When you moved to Monterey or from Monterey to here, did any other family members come with you or do you have
Mm.
any other family here?
No, they couldn't. No one else has been able to get papers.
Okay, so you said I'm the first one you've told. You haven't shared this with your family at all.
Mm-mm.
Do you have a good
No.
relationship? No? Okay.
I do. I have a good relationship with my family, but I just can't tell them this kind of stuff. They're gonna freak out, and I just can't do it.
I hear you. It sounds like you have a strong connection with them, but you're kind of scared to tell them what's going on.
Yeah, because they really love us and they love the kids. They would take the kids in a heartbeat. And I know if they heard that my husband was doing stuff like this, they would probably like cross the border and come get the kids. Like they would do that.
Wow. Well, I gotta say, it sounds like you've got a really loving and caring family, and that's great.
I did.
That's great to have. I'm glad you've got those connections there. Really quick, you mentioned last time you go to, or in your paperwork, and you mentioned church last time, and also you wrote that you're Catholic. I was just curious, do you have like a routine? Do you all go to church together as a family?
My husband doesn't really. He doesn't really come. Maybe like on holidays, like big stuff, he will come, but um, it's I always take the kids. Me and the kids are always there.
That's great. That's great.
We
That's
It's
got
a big
another.
deal to us.
Yeah. Um, one thing I wanted to kind of ask about, have you, I know church groups have a lot of marital counseling groups or support
Mhm.
groups in that nature. Have you thought about doing that or have you investigated going there with your husband when these problems started happening?
I asked, yeah, I remember 2 years ago I had asked him, but he said that stuff was stupid and he didn't do that. But um, me going on my own, I just think that will look so bad. It will make him look bad. I don't want to talk about that with people who know us.
Gotcha. So it sounds like your husband's not really interested in it. And if you went, you're worried about kind of what people would think.
Mm,
Yeah, not very supported and very maybe feel awkward going.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, there is another resource I wanted to talk to you about really quickly. It's called Al-Anon. I don't know if you're familiar with AA, but Al-Anon is a 12-step meeting group. Um, and it's about drinking, but it's for family members
Mhm.
who are experiencing like a husband who's drinking or older people with children that are drinking. And it's free and it's anonymous. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if you'd be interested in going, but there's a lot of people in there who are experiencing a lot of stuff that you've been going through. And if you'd like, I could give you a pamphlet. We have pamphlets in
Yeah.
Spanish, and there's meetings all around. If you're interested in kind of looking that over, and we can maybe talk about that a little more
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Great, great.
Hmm.
Okay, well, um, I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming in and seeing me today. Are you gonna maybe come back next week at this time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll be
Great,
here.
great.